Chasing happiness, running through the rain, turning all the little things into something great. With every heartbeat, we're finding our way. This is the moment, today's the day.
Welcome to the first official episode of Chasing Happiness. Yay! Today it's all about you.
Yeah, great.
You love it.
I love it so much. I feel like to get into my story, I have to go way, way back.
7 years.
Yeah, just 7 years, but years ago. So yeah, I was 21 when I found out that I was pregnant, and it was very, very unplanned and a huge, huge shock at the time, because obviously, I don't know, I feel like I tell people this story, I think they think I'm a bit dumb, really, because I just never thought that it was going to happen to me. You know, I feel like, life is just happening. I didn't think I was ever going to get pregnant. And
Like
I did.
most young people, we're all invincible. Nothing bad can happen. It's everybody else. It's not me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's exactly where I was. I think it was just like the hugest shock of my life.
Yeah.
Like completely life changing in a sense, because I knew that my life was never going to be the same again, regardless of what happened after I took that test. So having that happen was just huge, huge.
And where were you when you found out you were pregnant?
It was funny actually. Well, yeah, I suppose
Looking
it is.
back.
Looking back at the time, not funny at all, but now quite funny. I was actually at work when I found out I was pregnant. I was working with a girl, and we got on really well, and we were just like chit chatting. And I was saying that I just wasn't feeling right. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was like, I have these like pains, and I knew that there was something up. And she's like, oh, is there any chance you could be pregnant? And I was like, no, way. Me? Pregnant? No, not a chance. And then I was like, it's like you have a moment of, you know, when the light bulb goes off, you're like, I'm pregnant. There could be a chance. So I actually texted one of my friends at the time, and I was like, I'm working, I'm here until like 9 or whatever. I didn't drive at the time, so I was like, can you get me a test and bring it to me? Because I knew that there was no way I was going to be able to get one myself. She brought it to me. I was at work. I actually went upstairs to the bathroom, took the test, and it was one of these like fancy like pregnancy
Digital
tests.
ones.
Like it had the pregnant, not pregnant, and then the weeks.
Mhm.
And I remember taking it and just putting it on the sink, being like, "There's no way. Like, still, nah, this isn't happening." And then it flashed up pregnant. I put it back into the bag and ran downstairs, and I was like, like, what do I do? I didn't even see how far along I was.
Yeah.
And I went in, sat down. The girl I was working with was like, just take a second. She's like, what is it? And I was like, pregnant. And she's like, no way. And I was like, yeah, yes way. So she's like, just take a breather. So I did. And I worked in a deli at the time, so she had to tap out for a second. I don't know what she was doing, or she was just busy with another job. And I had to get up to serve then again, like a few minutes later, and it was my aunt. And I was like, I'm going through this whole thing in my head, and you have no idea of what is going on. And I had to like make 2 pizzas for her, serve her, and just be like, yeah, everything's great, while this was happening all inside.
And what was going on in your head then? Was it fear, shock, disbelief?
I don't think, it's funny, but like I can't, like looking back, I don't have a set emotion that I felt at that time.
You were just numb.
I don't think I had a thought, because I was just there going, this isn't actually happening, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think that I was like, oh, I'm so upset, or I'm so this. I was just there going, what? Yeah, what am I doing? Like, I don't think that I can pinpoint an exact emotion that I had at that time. I think I was just there going, how is this happening? You know, like I know obviously we all know how it happens, but like, how am I here and this is actually happening in my life? Because I knew that was going to change everything.
Yeah. And who was the first person you told? Obviously, you just told your work person. You haven't told your aunt.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't tell anyone. So I told obviously the girl I was working with. She was the first person to ever find out. And then I texted the dad. So I can't remember whether it was the dad would have been next, or whether I finished my shift before I spoke to dad. I can't remember, but I know that I finished my shift, and when I was walking home, actually, I rang one of my friends and I told her. I probably texted her actually that this was happening, but I actually physically spoke to someone. It was either the dad or one of my friends. And as hard as it was for me to get that news, that I know that when I told the dad, that it was like, it must have been crazy to get that news, because I think I was still in this like this isn't happening. There's no way. So I had the we need to talk, message. And then we chatted. So we wouldn't have been in like an official relationship when it would have happened. So to both of us, like it was huge. Like it was a big shock. We weren't like officially out there as being together, so yeah, it was like a huge life changing thing. Like I can just imagine. I know how hard it must have been getting that news because again, I wasn't processing it at all. When I got home from work, then it's kind of funny. I was on the phone to my friend in the room, and I don't know why, but I took out the 2 pregnancy tests and put them on my bed because that's such a normal thing to do. And my brother just walked into my room, not even thinking anything of it, and I snatched the 2 pregnancy tests, and I remember like I pulled them back because I was like, he can't see them. And I think if I left them there, he wouldn't have noticed them at all. But it was the fact that I grabbed them and moved them that he was like, oh, what are they? And I was like, well, I have a funny story to tell you. So then I told him, and he was like, okay. And I was like, we can't tell mom. He's like, no, we need to tell mom. And he's like, oh, we'll tell her straight away. And I was like, now, which was probably a great thing. I think that I was just, again, in such a daze that I was like, yeah,
that's probably what I was going to say. When all this was happening, when he came in and he saw them, did it hit you then? Are you are you still numb
I'm
at
still
this point? Are you like,
what is happening?
Getting to the fear because you were saying you don't want to tell mom. So like, is the fear starting to kick in and the kind of realization of this is huge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I need to sit with this because like I don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah,
I need to contain this a second to get my thoughts.
See, I don't even think like I didn't have a second. I think to contain my to get even to understand what was happening in my brain because I think like that it was just this one thing happened, then I told this person, then I told this person, but I still wasn't going, oh, this is happening, my mom got home from work and I can remember we sat her down and I was like, oh, I need to tell you something, as if it was like I was dying, and I was like, oh, so I'm pregnant, and she's like, okay, and she was so cool, like she
the way you want a parent to react in a big situation like that, like they might not mentally be calm, but they're going, okay, you're stressed. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it down a level. We'll deal with what we have to later. Yeah, but reassure you now. Yeah.
So she was like, oh, we've been through much worse. Like we've had a lot happen in life. Like you're good. We'll get through this. And she's like, have you told the dad? And I had a conversation with the dad, so I had told her what had happened.
She knew who the dad was.
Oh yeah, she knew him quite well. Yeah, like
no, just because you were saying that you weren't officially in a relationship.
Yeah, no, she
but
knew,
everybody, all your circle
would have known. Yeah,
would have known.
So yeah, she knew who it was. I had told her, and she's like, okay. But what's funny is we were actually going on holidays exactly 2 weeks after this, meeting up with a friend. We were going having some drinks, like we were going catching up. I was bringing 2 of my 2 of our kind of circle of friends over. So I had to tell them all then. So I think it just for a while it was like telling the people I needed to tell, while still not figuring out what was actually going on. Yeah, I think it just took us a long time to be like, oh, this is life now. And I knew kind of from the start that this was going to be my life now. And that there was no other option, like that I was going to continue this on and figure it out, whether I was doing that alone or whether I wasn't. But it ended up that I wasn't, that we decided that it was a good idea to make it work and to try and have the family, yeah, basically to do it together. And we did. And I think for the 9 months that I was pregnant, though, I think it was the wildest thing because I feel like my brain was just stuck in back that day of taking that test because I don't think I processed it at all. Not that it's a bad thing, because I feel like now the way that I'm coming across, it wasn't a bad thing at all. It was just that I was not expecting that at 21. Because I feel like people have such a judgmental and stereotypical view of young moms. And I think that kind of wrapped me up in a lot of it, that I was like, oh, what are people going to think?
Everybody else is going to think this. Everybody's going to speak about this about me.
What are people going to say? What are people going to think? And people did talk. And again, I speak about it now. Like, you'd swear I had murdered someone the way that people spoke about it. And I'm like, it's a baby. Like, it's not a bad thing. This isn't a bad thing. I did the whole pregnancy and I knew that this was going to be my life now, and I was good with it. Like, again, people are like, oh, how do you feel about this? Or how do you feel about that? I didn't have a feeling because I was just like still stuck in, this is now my life. And when you get pregnant so young, I think people assume that you were a specific kind of person, or assume that you're like, oh, you were out to get that person.
Every single person, or you're trying to trap this guy in a relationship. Or, it's always the female.
It's always the female.
Always the female. Yeah. How dare you live your life?
Yeah, which is so dumb. But I feel like I was trapped in a lot of that, of other people and what other people were saying. And I remember the news broke everywhere. Like, I live in a small village, and so a lot of people probably hearing this are like, oh no, that didn't happen, but it did. Like, so many people found out. I worked in a shop. Everyone knew from like 8 weeks.
I heard about it because me and you wouldn't have been
very
as close as we are then.
No,
I heard about it before. I feel like you told many people.
Yeah,
because I'd heard from 3 or 4 different people, and I was like, "So no, I don't think so."
Mm-hmm. No,
and then you announced it, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
Why are you telling me though?"
Yeah, because when I found out, I was 3 to 4 weeks. And then I would have went for an early scan, and then the news was everywhere. After the early scan, I think it was like 6 weeks or it was 8 weeks. I went for an early scan, and then the news was everywhere. I remember my mom came into me one day at work, and I had obviously told the people, certain people I worked with, because they needed to know for like health and safety and stuff. I remember my mom came in one day, and I was like, "Mom, you need to go tell Nana now," because I think she was the only one in the family that didn't know. And she did, and like Nana was so cool with it. But I think, again, like that, we were afraid of what like people were going to say, but then it was out there, and we had no choice but to face it. Again, like I think that people have such a narrow-minded and a judgmental view on it, that it's very hard to face that instinct when you're trying to deal with mentally what you're going through. Because like that, I think when it happens, you don't expect it to happen, and now it's a great thing. Like, you have a child, you're bringing a child now, and it is, and it was straight away after.
Yeah, no, not that it was a bad thing, but like, you obviously had to go through the moment back then of, I have to give up everything. Like, you were studying.
Yeah, I was doing hairdressing. Yeah,
you're working part-time, you're going out living your life. That stops.
It's gone. Yeah.
You're taking Chloe as you knew her. She's going over here now. That Chloe is disappearing for a little while. You have to focus on solely being a mom.
I think that's mentally very hard to deal with, because at the time you're 21, people are doing college, like they're living their life, they're going out partying, and all my friends were of that age as well. And it's very hard to stay in that level of friendship. So you also have to accept that you're going to lose some people along the way, because it just naturally happens, because they're living their life. I now have a lot more responsibility and more of a serious life than what I anticipated at that age. And it's just very hard to make it match and have them understand that I can't do the things that they can do anymore. I can, but I have to obviously plan a lot more. I have to, like, I have someone else I'm responsible for now. I have a baby. Like, I can't just drop things and go. And I think
your priority now is your child, not going out having a few drinks, meeting up with people. I think that happens at any age when you have a child. I can imagine at 21 though.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm an adult. I'm finally able to do all this stuff. I have my own money. Oh, bombshell.
Yeah. And it takes so long for that to happen, in a sense, because I felt like at the start everyone was like, oh, so excited. Like, my friends, they were like, oh, baby, great. And then slowly they'd be like, oh, I went out last night and I got drunk. And there I am going through pregnancy and dealing with the struggles of trying to figure it out and how my life is going to play out. And slowly, bit by bit, people just seem to disappear. And then you get left with a very small circle of people that either get it or they don't.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a good thing, because you know who's going to be there for you, who's not. But it is hard when you're there and the whole people and the friends and the circle that you've built is slowly like disappearing, because they can't cope with the situation, in a sense. Life moved on. I had him in February 2019, and then that just became my life. Like, I became a stay-at-home mom, and like I was good. Like, I had him, and I was happy out. COVID hit then, which just sent us into a whole other level of what the hell is happening. Yeah. So it was just me and him. Like, we were potting around because the dad would have been out working and stuff. So when life started to open up again, I was able to go back working for a while, but it just didn't work. So then I became like a full stay-at-home mom from the very start, really. I didn't really leave him. Me and the dad would have went on, we got engaged, and life just kind of kept going, and we had our second son in October 21. And again, life was just playing out. We would have gotten married then the few weeks following actually the birth of our second son, and then a few months later than that again, we would have separated. So which has now led me to where I am now, going through a divorce, and trying to navigate like a different life than what I anticipated at all, as a single mom, trying to co-parent and trying to figure all that out.
Do you feel like you had the judgment, you're a 21-year-old, it's not known you're in a relationship, so you clearly trapped him in other people's minds. You dealt with all this, you got past it, you gave everybody, in a sense, the answer they wanted of, well, look, I made it work, I got married, we created a family. Do you feel like you then had the same judgment again because now you're separated?
Oh yeah. After separating, it was again, I was met with people close to me even that were like, do you want to do this? And I'm like, I have, not that I want to. I don't think anyone wants to do that to your kids or do that in a sense, like change your life completely and know that you're facing another set of like hard things to get through and to deal with. But I definitely did feel the same judgment. I actually felt it worse separating from the boy's dad and stepping into the role of being like a single mom and co-parenting. I felt it worse then than I would have getting pregnant because I feel like when a relationship breaks down, people have judgment, full stop. But then there's stories that happen, there's people speak, and there's rumors, and there's loads of things that people outside the circle do that cause you to nearly even yourself judge the situation in a different way. But I did feel a lot of judgment, more so when I would have separated, and then when I would have announced that the separation was actually going to lead to a divorce. People are like, oh, because divorce isn't the thing you can speak about. You know, it's not a bad thing at all by any means. Like I think sometimes it just happens.
Yeah,
and then that's the way life takes you. But it's funny, like within a few years, my life did like a 180, and then I thought that that's what my life did, and then 3 years ago it did another 180, and now I think I finally just figured out that this is my life now, and I'm good, you know, with my life being the way it is now.
Do you feel like you're at a place now where, so 21-year-old Chloe, I'm pregnant, I have to put a baby first. Then you got married, you created a family, I have to put my family first, because that's the mentality as women we tend to fall into of, I'll look after everybody else, I'm not there. Do you think you feel better now and you feel like your life is on course now because you're finally stepping back going, this is what Chloe wants?
See, I think now I have the chance to do it. You know, in a sense, I feel like from when I found out I was pregnant, it was just one thing after the next that I didn't ever stop and go, what would I like to do? Do you know, what would I...
Who am I?
Who am I, in a sense? Because I feel like I was just figuring out who I was and what I like to do, and I got pregnant and that became my life. And again, not a bad thing by any means, but that just became my life. That happened, and then the separation happened, and then obviously you deal with what happens after that. That now, I think 3 years on, is the first time that I'm like, oh, what would I like to do? What do I want to do with my life? And like, what am I going to do going forward that's going to benefit me? I'm going to benefit my boys and build a life that I'm happy and proud of for myself and for them. Yeah. So I think I'm in that era at the minute.
Obviously, I've seen you as a mom. I know 100% you will never, ever, ever, ever regret having your boys. If you could do it over, though, do you wish you could have just had them later?
Don't think I would have. Even though it caused like such an upheaval in my life, in a sense of it was so sudden and just kind of happened that it wasn't planned, obviously. That I think that caused such an upheaval, but it made me exactly who I am today, in a sense. And I always think that now, looking back, I can't imagine having them later in life, because I think like I've grown up, they've started now, they're only young, like they're 6 and they're 3, so it's not like we've done many years together. But like with my first, like I feel like he was in my growing up stage while he was also growing up, so I feel like I was learning how to do life while he was going through his first. So I don't think I would redo it. Like I often say that, my 40s are going to be great because I'll have my kids raised and life will be done. Now I know you never stop raising your kids. They're going to be there for forever.
I get you though, because I'll still be in the raising.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, I see a lot of like friends and family that like haven't even started thinking of kids, and they're like late 20s, 30s, and I'm like,
I'm done.
I'm done. Like mine are growing. So I don't think I would change it. No, I think that it happened the way it was meant to happen. Yeah.
Do you feel though, for you, knowing the judgments that you had to receive, knowing the hardship you had to go through in the sense of dropping out of college, giving up your life and all this, do you think it's going to be, obviously, I know because we're best friends and we speak about things, that you would support your boys regardless of what happened, but do you think it'd be a thing where you're like, please wait till you're a bit older?
Yeah, I even say that to my cousins and stuff. I'm like, don't do it to yourself. You know, just because I think I know exactly what I went through and how hard it was, that I do think No, I wouldn't change it, and I'm very set on I would never change it, and it happened the way it was meant to. But I do think having your life more together, and as you say, like having to give up
like
a
bit of financial stability, a career.
I would never judge my boys if that was to happen, or I would never judge anyone around me if that's to happen, because I've been there and I've been through it.
Yeah.
But I do think the smarter thing is just wait. If you can, just wait.
Yeah.
Just wait. Don't do it to yourself, because there's a lot of life there to live, and when you're faced with a lot of responsibility at a young age, you do miss out on certain things. Again, not bad. Like, I have a long life left for me to live and to catch up on like certain experiences that you miss out on. You don't like. But yeah, I would say just wait.
Hold. I do think what you said there is a thing that is still kind of looked at. It's but you can't have, for like my friends now, we have the same circle of friends, so why I'm saying mine, I don't know. But like for our friends that don't have children, it's like, oh, but I can just go out, and I'm like,
good for you.
I can too. I choose not to. Like, I don't feel like people necessarily understand it. Your priorities literally change. The things that were enjoyable before kids aren't as enjoyable, for me at least, post kids. Like, we have a hen coming up. Can I wait to go out? I can't. I cannot wait to go out. Be child free, have a good night, have a few drinks. But I'm good with that being
something you're
the first time I do it in months, and then the next time I do it be the wedding.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, I don't crave anymore.
It's not like you're sitting at home every night being like, oh, I wish I could.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like the friends that don't necessarily have children are like, oh, but do you not miss being able to go this and do this? And I'm like, I get to see these chubby, beautiful faces doing something absolutely idiotic. And it's hilarious. And that fills my cup. Of course, I step away, I do stuff for myself. But like, now I'm looking back being like, how did I enjoy going out, having too many drinks every weekend?
See, I think until it's there in front of you, you think you're happy and you're good with the way life is happening.
100%.
Being able to be free and be able to do that. Because I think that people that don't have kids have that view that, oh, kids change everything and they ruin everything. They don't.
You're tied down. You can't do anything.
Yes, you freely can't go and do everything that you could have done before. It just takes a little bit more planning. Like that, if you wanted to go on a night out, you could. You would just have to plan a little bit more than what someone that doesn't have kids.
I think it makes you appreciate the night out that bit more as well. Like before, I was like, oh my God. Yeah. What can you tell me about your night? Nothing. And it's not because you're drunk, it's just because it was just another night. Like, I do it the whole time. Whereas now, like for us, it's the excitement. It's, oh, we get to go get dresses. We're going to have these drinks. We're going to do these games. Like, I think we're more excited about going out than necessarily what the event even is and the build up to it.
Yeah.
And we're getting more enjoyment from it because it's something we don't get to do a lot, that we get to now just be like, oh, we're going to enjoy every single step of the way. It's not just a thing.
Rather than just doing it for the sake of it. You know, like, I think that when you're young and you're at that age, you're like, oh, I'm just going to go out. Because there's not much more to life in a sense. Like, I feel when you're in that period of growing up, everyone's going out. You know, not that there's not much more to life, but everyone's going out every weekend. And if you're not, then you're kind of just left behind in a sense. You're like, oh, I'm sitting at home doing nothing, you know? But I think when you become parents and you become moms, and that, I think life changes. And as you said, like, what our priorities now are different to the way they would have been. That's not necessarily a bad thing at all. We have just progressed on in life. And yes, we have missed out on things that people might judge as more important, but we've also gained so much more because now we have kids, we have people like that we like being around. We get to see our boys grow up all day, every day. And now we're at a point where we're good with life and we're figuring out what we want to do going forward.
For sure.
Yeah.
The circle, you said that you lost a lot of people. And you kind of realised, oh, these are the ones that I have now. Do you feel, looking back, like, obviously you're going to miss aspects because they were people that needed to be in your life for that point in time. But do you feel, looking back now, like, oh, I really miss these people. If this hadn't happened, I would have been able to keep them. Are you like, do you know what? They were great then. I'm good with my circle now, though.
No, I am 100% good with my circle and the way my life is now. I think that, like that, when you're growing up, I think there's always going to be people that come into your life and that they don't stick around. I don't think that they're at fault or I'm at fault or anything like that. I think that where I'm at now, and who I had at different stages of my life growing up is exactly where and who I needed at that time.
Yeah.
But now that I'm at the age that I'm at and in this stage of life with my actual circle around and the people that I know are good for me and have my back like 100%, I don't miss anyone because they were there, they were good, and they were what I needed at the time.
You what you needed.
Yeah, but they're not like my forever people. They're not the people that are going to be with me through the rest of my life and with me through the hardships that I had faced. Like in the last few years, like I feel like I've found my circle, especially in the last few years. I think it's cemented. It's cemented because of the hardships that I've gone through and stuff. That I'm like, oh, these are my people. It doesn't matter about the people that I might have lost. Not that it doesn't matter, but I think it just cements that they weren't
meant to be forever. They were just a chapter in your book. Yeah. If you had any advice for 20-year-old Chloe
before ever she found out she was pregnant.
You're 20. You're months off that happening.
Okay.
What would you say to her now?
I think that's such a crazy thing looking back on like younger Chloe, because she has no idea of what's to come or like the hardships or the great times that she's going to face. I think 20-year-old Chloe wouldn't, like I had just started the hairdressing and beauty and I was like, oh, this is life now. But I don't think she knew at the time like what happiness was or what she wanted to do with her life. So I'd love to just tell her that like, oh, as tough as you think things are, like you're going to be good, like life is going to be okay, you know? Because I feel like even then I was just like, oh, you have to go to college, you have to do these things. I think I was very much still stuck in that mindset. So I'd love
There's a lot of young people are in.
So I would love to tell her that like life is going to come and it's going to be wild. Like you have no idea what's come, but it's exactly where you're meant to be and you'll figure it out.
And anybody that is in a relationship like you were and just realizes, you know, for everybody, this isn't the best thing right now.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I think that I understand, obviously, because I've been in that situation.
Yeah. I mean it in the sense of like you received judgment.
Yeah.
And things like that. Would you be like, just forget about it?
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, you need to do what's right for yourself.
Yeah.
In what regard that might be, and no matter what judgment you might face, I think that at the end of the day, if the situation you're in any aspect, not even relationship wise, if life, work, anything, I think if you're not good, like to your core, then you just have to do some serious thinking about, is this going to make me happy for forever? And if it's not, then whatever may follow that probably is going to be the best thing that you can do for yourself, even if that means leaving a relationship, even if that means like quitting a job, even if that means changing your whole changing your whole life. Like we only do get one shot at this of doing it, and there's no point just sticking around and doing things for the sake of doing it or doing it because what will people say, because people are going to talk regardless.
110%.
And like they're going to create the wildest of stories and it's going to keep them happy. But you know to yourself who you are and your truth in a sense. And they're going to do that anyways. So I think that you need to be good with yourself and whatever the steps you need to do in life to change and to become that person and to be happy in yourself.
Yeah.
You should do it.
So the most selfless thing is putting yourself first. Yeah. Looking after you.
Yeah. It's the hardest thing to do because I know that there's a lot of like backlash and stuff that would probably happen. That will be hard to navigate. What you do, you have to be good with yourself because there's no point doing it just for the sake of it or doing it to keep other people happy.
If you could get at 21 and 3 years ago, all those people in a room, the ones that judged you, the ones that spread the rumors, the one that made nasty comments, the ones that didn't know you but decided on your story, if you could get them in a room and say anything, would you have anything to say? I know I'd be like, what's that? Don't throw stones in glass houses or something.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah,
that kind of a saying of like, unless you've walked my shoes and know who I am.
You see, that is. You see, I just don't know. Would I say anything?
You just don't even give energy. Like,
yeah, I don't think that there's point in a sense to give time to people that are going to talk anyways.
Yeah,
and they're going to have their judgment, and that's on them. Like 100%. As I said a minute ago, I know my side and I know my story and I know exactly what I've done
and your circle
and my circle.
We know it as well.
Like I think the people that are closest to me and the people that have been with me know exactly who I am. And anyone else's opinions doesn't matter.
I do find it funny when you talk about all the, not funny, haha, just funny in the, I don't get it. I don't get those people, because we were there for everything.
Mm-hmm.
We, in a sense, have the right to be the judgmental ones. And we don't even, we're like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, we know what happened. Obviously, as your friend, no matter what, I'm going to side with you about anything. You know, be it with a relationship. If you're giving out about your mom, if you're giving out about, I'm always going like, Chloe is completely right. What did you do though? You know what I mean? We have, in that sense, as your friend, the right to judge. And even we're like, are you happy? Are your boys happy?
Good.
That's what we care about. We don't, it's noise.
Yeah.
And I don't get how people that aren't in it can create the noise.
I think people, in a sense, certain people, narrow-minded people, and people that are probably unhappy in their own lives, love to pass judgment onto other people because they're definitely not happy within themselves. So they're like,
for sure.
Let me talk about this person that's going through this rough patch, or let me spread this rumor that's going around, or let me like talk about this person because it's hilarious. Like, did you hear this? It's not funny. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, I'm not saying that we don't speak about people or we don't, like, everyone gossips.
No, but
everything.
Everybody has a little bit of a vent. But, like, it's me to you in the confines of my home or your home, or, like, a WhatsApp message between each other. But we're not going out there being like, oh my God, but did you hear? Oh my God, did you hear? Yeah. And I think with situations like this, what bugs me the most about it, and the part that I struggle so much to wrap my head around, is at 21, I know legally you're an adult, you're a child. You know what I mean? You haven't lived yet.
Yeah.
You haven't done anything. You need support. You don't need all of this. So,
but you see, people thrive off of other people's mistakes and other people's hardship. They do.
Everybody wants to see everybody else fail.
Yeah.
Basically.
And they get kicks out of it.
Because then they can feel better about themselves. Because for me, I feel like it's, I couldn't do that thing. So now she's screwed up more. I feel better because I didn't do it.
My life's not so bad because look at hers.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, huh?
How does that make
sense? My brain just does not wrap around it, because I think for everything, for me watching you, obviously, since we've been close, and this isn't me tooting my own horn, but you can feel free to do that. I have, like, every time I've seen you, even if you go one step forward and two steps back, I'm not going to care about the two steps back. I'm like, but she went one forward.
Yeah.
She figured it out. She went two back. Let's not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Wait for the next step forward. You know? And it's been the same for you as well. Like, you watching me.
Yeah.
We've just cheered on all the little moments. And I'm like, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
I don't struggle with it. No. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm doing it. I was joking. I'm not doing it for the pat on my back. Yeah. I'm doing it because I'm like, but look what she did.
Yeah.
She had something thrown at her that was so difficult. Tried to come out of it. Got something else thrown at her a few years later.
Yeah.
Tried to why do I want to be the person that adds to you going through difficulties?
Yeah.
I don't. I want to be the person being like on the sidelines, being like, I knew you could do this.
Yeah.
Watch you go. And I feel like if people did that more, how amazing would be the world we live in be?
Oh, it'd be a lot better than what it is.
You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. I think that people are just so trapped in the negativity of life and the negativity of what's happening in their circle and what's happening in the people around them, that they're
not even seeing the person in the story. No. They're just seeing what they can add to it. Because that was the other thing I was going to say. Like, for me as well, with the judgment you got when you decided, you know, that you were going to face life as a single parent, there's two boys there.
Yeah.
Take out your ex.
Yeah.
There's two tiny little beautiful humans just starting off.
Yeah.
If you're talking this negatively, it's eventually, they might not know it now. They might not understand it now, but they're going to hear it throughout the years.
Not even that.
You know?
Why are you getting kicks out of a situation that does involve two kids that are obviously are now going through a tough time as well? Like, I think, not even with my situation, it just baffles me that when people talk and stuff, these people are going through a hard time. Like, it's a rough patch that this person is facing. And why are you getting laughs and giggles out of it? Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel good about yourself making comments about a situation that obviously has to be really tough and that obviously is affecting a lot of people, but you feel great about yourself because you made one little comment to someone else? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, that just baffles me. Even take it out of my situation, just in general, I just don't understand how people can do that. Like, you know, especially when there's kids involved and especially when there's a lot more than just one person involved. Why? Like, just why? I don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel over the last 3 years?
Yeah. Full stop.
Full stop.
Yeah.
You have changed.
Oh, massively. See, I think it's funny because I say I've changed because yes, I have. I've done a complete 180, like crazy. But then to my core, I'm still the same person. Like, I'm still the same Chloe that would have been there 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago.
I think the way I like describing it is you're Chloe with glitter sprinkled on top.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit better.
Like, you're still the same Chloe, but now you shine.
Yeah,
because you could see. Do you know those days where you're just having a bad day and you're like, could be a beautiful day, and you're like, everything sucks
because
it's horrendous. There's a black cloud like all the way over there. It's going to start right, and you just see everything badly. I feel like you were nearly walking around, if you were to visualize it, with that cloud over you, whereas now it's just sunshine and rainbows. You know, you can see the happiness come out of you.
Yeah, it took me though the 3 years to get here, like, because like that I feel like, oh, it just happened and life moves on, and life does move on, and it's either going to leave you behind or you have to just pick yourself up and keep going, you know? Like, you can stay trapped, and I did there for a while, being like, oh, is this going to be my life forever now? Like, how am I going to deal with this? Like, it does get heavy, like, in there. I'm not going to be like, oh, life is great because I did this. It isn't. Like, there is going to be the heaviest and the darkest of times, but then there is also another side, which I think when you're in it, it's very, very hard to see an end goal or to see a time when it's not going to feel like this. But I'm proof. Because like even last year, which was 2 years after like becoming a single mom and figuring out that this is going to be my life now and starting co-parenting, I went through like another rough patch last year. And like that, I was like, I can't see, not that I can't see a future, but I just couldn't see life past it.
Yeah.
And I was like, another thing that I have to try and navigate and figure out. And you can do it, like, little by little, step by step. There is ways and there is things that you can do to make yourself feel better. And like that, I think that I've gotten to that point now that I know myself a lot better than I would have 3 years ago. And I know who I need and who I am and how to deal with life going forward.
Do you see end goal for Chloe, or do you just see, I'm just going to take it as it comes, but I have, obviously you're going to have goals.
Yeah.
But you're just going to...
I don't think I have an end goal in a sense like that. I need to do this for my life to be complete. I think I'm good with my life now, and whatever happens with my life now, I'm good with it, you know? I'm not saying that like I need to do this or I need to do that to be happy. Like, I think I've gotten to a point where I have me, I have my boys, I have a really good circle of people that I want to keep around for forever. And if I can do that and navigate life and whatever happens, I'm good, you know?
Yeah. My last question, and then I am done. I think. Do you think everything you have gone through has, it's a two-part question. One, changed your opinion on love, marriage, however you want to phrase that, or two, changed your opinion on people as a whole?
I suppose yes and no to both those questions. So with like love and marriage, no, it hasn't changed that at all. Because I think that you have to just accept that sometimes things aren't going to work out. Doesn't work out in any regard in life. So like there's going to be people that's going to come into your life and you're like, oh, great, this was great, but this is where it has to end. So I don't think it has changed that, because I think you have to accept that with life there's going to be love, there's going to be loss, there's going to be heartbreak.
For sure.
And I think that once you figure that out, that you're good. Like it hasn't changed my opinion at all.
If it was to happen, you're cool. You'd still get married again. You'd still
I'm like, round 2, here we go. Yeah. I'm like, I'm good. Like, 2. Let's go again. I'm good. Like it hasn't turned me off marriage. I'm not like never again. I know some people are, but not. No, I think that I have accepted that with life there's love, loss, heartbreak, and
And your opinion on people? Has it made you, like, in a sense, more guarded towards people because you know the negativity that can come, or has it made you more open because through all of this you found your actual circle?
I think, again, yes and no. I think it has made me guarded in the sense that I realise people are quite judgmental, even nowadays. In like 2025, being a single mom and being that, even though it's quite prominent and like people, not even a single mom, single parent doing life.
Yeah.
Or
even, how are you going to date again? Sure, you have kids.
How can you do this?
Yeah, you can't have this person. You can't have this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just, I think there's a lot of judgmental. So yes, I am guarded in a sense of, I realise people aren't going to think the way I think.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay. So I think when I'm with people that I know won't get it or won't accept it or won't understand it, I would be a bit guarded in a sense of, I'm not going to give my time to you or my energy and try and be like, I'm this or I'm that, because you're just not going to get it. So I'm not going to waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other side of it, I think I'm quite open because I have no problem talking about my story and what I've gone through.
The issue isn't yours. It's
other people, because I have no problem talking to people about like my mental health struggles, about talking my co-parenting journey, about going through a divorce. I have no problem being open and honest, which I think people find quite strange. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, it's not a bad thing. It's quite normal. A lot of people go through it.
Yeah.
So in a sense, if anyone wants to talk to me or needs to talk to me, I have no problem talking about any of it. But I think I just choose, in a sense, who, because I know that some people just won't get it, so there's no point.
Yeah.
So,
have you anything else to add?
I think that's it. Yay. I think that's my story in a little nutshell.
A tiny
little bit. I think I've just let you in a little bit into the life of Chloe.
Yeah. We do appreciate you sharing it. And if anybody does have any questions about unplanned pregnancy or anything like that, she's the one to answer.
I will answer anything. I don't mind. Yeah. I'm quite open if I haven't pointed that out.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you want to just like, share, follow, and invite a friend, we would massively appreciate it. And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye.